Brez, it is your boy, the Streets Champ. Tubby World, party time, excellent. Now I want to pose you a question. Are footballers allowed to have fun? I feel like when the general masses finds out that a footballer enjoys partying, they treat it as if an angel has just lost its wings. Now look, personally, I understand that. There's just some footballers I can't imagine partying. N'Golo Kante, what's up, man?
Hello, Toby.
Yo, man, we miss you over here.
Oh, fuck you very much.
Yeah, man, what you been up to?
Nothing much. I just came back home from one
At Diddy's party, son.
Kante, no.
Yo, there was dick and balls everywhere, son, you heard?
And that is what people are saying about their favorite teenager, Lamine Yamal, who just hosted what people are calling the biggest freak-off since when Diddy and Vince McMahon linked up at WrestleMania 29. Let's get into the details of this party. Now, apparently, there was about 300 people there. There was a lot of celebrity cameos. I Show Speed was there. I believe Mick Foley was there. There's reports that Toby Roll was in attendance as well. Big Toby Roll, man. Fuck. Now, I don't think people are mad that Lamine Yamal threw a party. I think people are just mad at the manner of it. Especially weeks removed from the fact that we found out that this man was dating She Kelly. Let's look deeper into the details of this party. Claudia Calvo is a Spanish model and a former Miss Teenager Spain. There's actually a certain French footballer who believes she was in her prime years when she won Miss Teenager Spain. She is claiming that Lamine Yamal paid her $20,000 to not only attend, but also bring in women that were blonde and had specific, that have a big heart. It is also reported that Lamine Yamal had 7 dwarves in the house like he was Snow White. All right, I'm too hot, man. I'm getting changed. Now, of course, a lot of people are upset about this. They believe that the only dwarf Lamine Yamal should be hanging out with is Messi. They also believe that partying is gonna stunt Lamine Yamal's trajectory of becoming one of the best players of all time. But ladies and gentlemen, we are neglecting a huge fact, that footballers are huge party animals. The terms footballer, party, and animal are synonymous together, especially when you're saying footballer Thomas Partey is a fucking animal. But today, I'm gonna pose a question. Does partying actually stunt footballers' careers? And also, can you still become an elite player whilst enjoying all the riches you have been blessed with? Well, today we're gonna be looking at footballers that had nothing but loyalty for their club. And I don't mean this club, I mean this club. But before we get into that, guys, we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, baby. We're trying to hit that before 2026. If you subscribe today, not only will you be joining World Gang, but you will officially be an honorary Oos, baby. And if you are new, then I want you to get down into the comments, and I want you to comment that you are joining the journey, not this piece of crap, so that me and all the day one Ooses, everybody that's already subscribed, can welcome you to the family. Doesn't matter if you're a day one Oos or an honorary Oos, I got the same love for you. You're still part of World Gang. Love and appreciate all you guys. Let's get into the video.
Yeah, it's a party, it's a party, it's a party.
So here's how this video is going to be structured. I'm going to be talking about footballers, particularly the ones that are party animals. And we're going to analyze based on a rating out of 10 if partying too much actually did stunt their career. The very first player is none other than the very best. George Best was an amazing player. He was so good that he won the Ballon d'Or at the age of 22, which was the youngest at the time. He even won the European Cup, and honestly, he might be the only dude from Northern Ireland that actually matters. Why is Liam Neeson by my window? But look, let's not talk about that boring shit, okay? Let's talk about his partying. Yeah, all right. To say this guy liked to drink is like saying Hulk Hogan liked a steroid needle in his ass. This man drank like Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Brez, he was fucking the baddest on the planet. Look, I know at this time footballers were celebrities, but he was like the first proper football rock star. One of his most well-known quotes was, "I once gave up alcohol and women. It was the worst 20 minutes of my life." All right, it's not time to ask a question. Did partying stunt his career? The answer is 10 out of 10 yes. He would disappear from training for days and then reappear all hungover. He could never replicate his form from his early 20s. And by the time he was 27, he was kicked out of Man United and just ended up playing for different clubs around the world. And I am sure that he was attending different clubs around the world too. This was based on George Best's career and it 100% stunted his growth. Come on, man. I need a footballer that isn't going to be gravely affected by partying. Next player, Mario Balotelli. Oh, for f***'s sake. I don't think people realize how much of a freak of nature Balotelli was when he was a youngster. For context, in 2010, he won the Golden Boy Award, which I think should be called the Star Boy Award, not gonna lie. And for all the OG FIFA heads, in FIFA 09, when he was only about 17 years old, he had a rating of 78, which is BS, because I know 17-year-old Balotelli was much better than Holland, but he had a potential of 86. And suffice to say, a lot of football manager players loved scouting this guy back in the day. You've never seen a grown man love a 17-year-old this much since Fabrizio Romano discovered Lamine Yamal. By the way, go check out my latest video on that. But to say Balotelli liked partying was a secret is like saying it's a secret that Lex Luthor really doesn't like that Superman guy. So when Balotelli played for Liverpool in 2014, they lost a match to Chelsea and he stayed in London partying at nightclubs until 4 a.m. Also, when Liverpool had a European game against Basel, on the day of the game, he stayed up until 2 a.m. smoking out the window with his homies like they were Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. And yes, he proceeded to have a stinker. Look, man, if I had to make a video about Balotelli's partying antics, I would be here all day. Now the question is this: did partying stunt Balotelli's career? I would say 6 out of 10 yes. As much as I want to say if he partied less, then he would have been a better player, I really don't believe it was his partying. I just think that it was his mentality. You see, Balotelli was a very sensitive guy and rarely wanted his ego to be bruised. Not to mention, he was very emotional. I mean, dude, one time in training with Liverpool, he was unhappy with the teammates that he had, so he just smacked the ball into his own net. So yeah, I believe the partying was just an add-on, but I don't believe his head match the natural abilities that he had. But don't get it twisted, he is still one of the coldest players ever. Next player is... This is a bloke from Birmingham that loves to party. The only bloke from Birmingham that likes to party more than Jack Grealish is Ozzy Osbourne. Hey guys, so listen, I shit you not, I recorded this video 2 days ago. I am editing the video right now, and while editing, Ozzy Osbourne dies. The one time I reference Ozzy Osbourne, this happens. Look, I know this has nothing to do with football, but as a guy that lives in Birmingham, I want to give a huge shout out to our only legend, Ozzy Osbourne. And if I ever make a non-football video, then I'd love to make one on this guy's life. Okay, let's get back to Jack. Now look, as somebody that's watched his entire career take place, I would say when he was about 17 or 18, he had high potential. But honestly, I never saw him becoming one of England's best players. I mean, for fuck's sake, in the beginning, he wasn't even English. I would say when Villa got promoted and he became their captain, that's when he really locked in. I mean, dude, you cannot become a 100 million player without being pretty good. He was special before Pep turned him into an android. But maybe it wasn't Pep that was the problem. Let's talk about his partying. This man has been spotted drunk, topless dancing in places like Ibiza, Vegas, Oblak. He didn't start partying when he got to Man City. No, even when he played for Aston Villa, he was caught passed out in a hotel hallway. And dude, after Man City's treble win, this man went on a 72-hour bender. 72 hours! Bro, BoJack Horseman himself could not achieve that. Now, has partying stunted Jack Grealish's career? I would honestly say like 5 out of 10 yes. I think him not performing as well has a lot to do with his individuality being stripped in a system that just doesn't promote that. Not to mention the overwhelming pressure of being a 100 million player. People think when this guy's partying, he's having fun. Bro, he's a boy from Birmingham. When guys in Birmingham party and drink, it's not because they're having fun. It's because they hate their lives. Alright, we've talked about some pretty good players. Now let's talk about the elite players and see if they could have been better. Instead of being on a diet of tequila shots, baddies from Venezuela, and the same clubs that creeps like Danny Alves frequents, they were instead doing nothing but going to sleep at like 7 p.m. and drinking a smoothie made out of lettuce. I do not need to tell you how good Ronaldinho is. He is quite possibly the reason that any of us even care about football as a sport. But boy, was this man an animal. He was obsessed with partying. While he was in house arrest in 2020 for passport fraud, this man was throwing parties in the hotel that they forced him to stay in. And dude, when he played for Flamengo, he had a nightclub clause which stated that he was allowed to party at least 2 times a week regardless of the match schedule. But look, I need y'all to remember this. Ronaldinho is Brazilian. For Brazilian standards, this guy is a nun. But now, despite achieving pretty much everything a footballer could, we gotta ask, did partying stunt Ronaldinho's career? The answer is 8 out of 10 yes. Ronaldinho was amazing in his 20s, but he could have even been elite in his 30s. But instead he was playing for Milan, who weren't that competitive in Europe, and he was also playing in Brazil, where I'm assuming he was smashing girls during halftime talks. But man, to say Ronaldinho could have been a better player might just be the scariest sentence in football history. I wasn't going to, but I feel like y'all would eat my ass in the comments if I don't talk about Neymar. Probably the face of footballer party animals. I genuinely feel that in the same way Messi transferred all of his powers to Lamine Yamal when he gave his ass a bath as a baby, Neymar also transferred his party powers to Lamine Yamal when they linked up a few months ago. Yeah, Neymar was literally shutting down whole ass blocks just to have parties. But the question is this, did partying stunt Neymar's career? Unpopular opinion? I'd give it a 4 out of 10. I think it was the injuries. And look, I get it, yeah. Some of his injuries, he might have been lying, just to go out and party, right? And yes, I believe that if Neymar had like the mentality of like a Ronaldo, he could have, of course, been a better player. But guys, I hope we could all agree in unison on one thing. Regardless of what Neymar did in his entire career, there was no reality where he was ever going to be better than Ronaldo or Messi. Now imagine the pressure he had his entire career, being told that he has to become the best player ever, and he is shoehorned in this generation of the 2 best players ever. Man, I'm not surprised that this man just wanted to cool off and just party. He needed an escape from all the pressures of just being Neymar. They call him the prince that never became king. Man, he played well for Brazil, Barcelona, PSG, and it didn't matter. Let's just be honest. He was never meant to be king. At least, not in this generation. So the fact that he partied so much and still had the elite career that he did, man, I gotta give him credit where it's due. Now guys, we're at the stage of the video where I'm gonna urge you guys to please like the video and comment below which rogue footballer you are honoring your like to. I think today I'm gonna honor my like to the Irish gunman himself, Mr. Robbie Keane. It is now time for the ultimate party animal, a man who I should honestly make a video on by himself. It is none other than a true pioneer. He was putting down magic spray before the referees even started doing it. Now, Maradona is quite comfortably the 3rd, perhaps 4th, some people will argue, best player of all time. He, of course, single-handedly carried Napoli to a historic Scudetto. The only reason Maradona never won a ton of Ballon d'Ors is because there was some stupid rule that South Americans couldn't win it at the time. Maradona also won 2 World Cups and... you guys just want to hear about the partying. Okay, fine, let's get into it. What is the difference between Ronaldo and Maradona? Well, Ronaldo actually hates Coke. When Maradona landed in Naples, he picked up a nasty habit. He was also very close with the Camorra, which is basically the local mafia. They helped his ass throw wild parties, which had a whole lot of narcotics that was imported just for the parties and a whole lot of women. Again, I'll maybe make a whole video about Maradona's wild side, but we have to ask a question. Despite being one of the greatest players of all time, did partying stunt Maradona's career? The answer is 12 out of 10, 160% yes. Dude, in 1991, he was literally banned from playing football for about 15 months for, He was also banned for using an illegal substance after the 1994 World Cup. He slept about 3 or 4 hours a night, and the rest of it was just spent partying or sometimes training. Maradona is, once again, I have to say, top 4, top 3 players of all time. But yes, partying 100% stunted his development. Now the question is this, is it bad that footballers just want to have fun? Rappers are allowed to party. Actors are allowed to party. I feel like with footballers, there's so much pressure because everybody wants you to become this generational player. And people like to say how somebody is wasted potential. I gotta tell y'all this, man. Anybody that is able to achieve their dreams, help their entire family and their community, you can't call that wasted potential. I don't care about football context. And sometimes, guys, we gotta be fair. These guys are earning $100,000 a week? What would you be doing if you had $100,000 a week? Like, I see people talking about Lamine Yamal. Bro, if I was his age getting this kind of money, I'd be worse. The truth is, some footballers, just see this as a job. And that's what I'm gonna be talking about on my very next video. And if you guys wanna watch that, then guys, make sure that you subscribe and keep them notifications on. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video, man. I appreciate all of World Gang. And guys, again, if you're new to this journey, make sure you comment. If you're old school, if you're OG, make sure you welcome all the newbies in here. And guys, make sure you like the video as well. It has been your boy, guys. I love y'all so much. It's been the street champ himself, and I've just given you the gift of Toby World. Drink it in, man.